How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Iko, talk to you later. I will. Okay, now that we're on track, again, this is Papa Tutu, taking a beautiful ride up towards the hills, foothills. And I said earlier, I don't know if I'm going to use that footage, but I said that Halloween was just a couple days away. And seeing Colleen at the medical clinic reminded me of a story that included my wife, myself, Colleen, and her husband Jim. And this story is 100% true. This actually happened to us. So I'll start at the beginning. Well, my youngest son got an athletic scholarship to Colorado College in Colorado Springs, Colorado. A lot of Colorados in there. To play hockey. So he spent 4 years at Colorado College. Well, every home game, the wife and I would try to fly out there and visit them and watch the games and socialize with the other parents and what have you. And on occasion, Jim and Colleen would go out there also, make a little weekend out of it. Well, this particular weekend, Jim and Colleen came out. It was in February and it was snowing and not bad. It never snows really bad in Colorado Springs, but enough to dust the ground and put a chill in the air. Well, we were out between games doing the touristy stuff, going visiting locations and, you know. Well, we went to the Garden of the Gods. Beautiful rock formations. And on our way back, it was late afternoon. Game was going to be at 7, so it must have been about 3:30, 4 o'clock. And we said, let's stop for a drink at this luxury hotel called the Broadmoor. Now, the Broadmoor has history, a lot of history there in Colorado Springs. And school bus. And Ooh, that guy's going to get a ticket. He's supposed to be stopping. When you have flashing lights and the stop sign, you can't blow by. Anyway, he did. So we stopped there at the Broadmoor. Now, the Broadmoor is a 5-star hotel. Beautiful. It was built by a gentleman, rich gentleman for the time, named Spencer Penrose. He would be considered a billionaire probably back then, even though he had millions. Well, he built this luxury hotel hoping to make it a tourist destination. And that was the turn of the century, I think about 1918. And it became a big success. And Mr. Penrose passed away somewhere, I think it was 1938, something like that. And, you know, the hotel has been a success ever since. Well, we said, let's stop at the Broadmoor and just have a couple drinks. In which we did. And we went into the bar area. Beautiful. You know, the place has history, you can see. And we went into the bar area. And then through the bar, there's another entrance into the lounge area. And that's where we ended up, in the lounge area. We ordered our drink and we chatted for a while and enjoyed the atmosphere. And Jim, who at that time didn't smoke in front of Colleen, she wasn't really appreciative of him smoking. So he says, I'm going to go out and look at the grounds. And before he left, he gave Colleen $40. Oh, turn right in front of me, you knucklehead. He gave Colleen 40 bucks. Two $20 bills. And then he left. Well, we were sitting around talking, and all of a sudden, Colleen has this confused look on her face and looking around and down. And what's wrong, Co? She goes, that $40 Jim gave me, I don't know where I put it. I suggested, is it in your pockets? She goes, oh no, I checked. And she stood up and checked her pockets again. You know how you do. Start checking every pocket you have on your jacket or your pants. And she can't find that $40. She starts putting her hand between the sofa cushions looking. So my wife and I got out our cell phones, and you know how lounges are. They have subdued lighting, so you know you really couldn't see that well wherever there was darkness, like under the couch. So we got out our cell phones and we made we got our flashlights going. And so now my wife and I are on our hands and knees looking under the couch for this money. We're looking under the chairs. We're looking back at the chairs and back of the couch. You know, behind where the head rested on the couch, checking, pulling the couch away from the wall, looking behind the couch. I looked on top of the coffee table. Now, you get to that point where you don't want to leave anything unturned. And so I'm looking under the coasters, under the napkins. They gave us a basket of mixed nuts to snack on. I picked up the basket of mixed nuts, looked under that. I shook the nuts around, looked to make sure the money wasn't in there. Just looked everywhere on that coffee table. We couldn't find the $40. So we sat for a little bit more, and Colleen still has this puzzled look on her face. And so I said, well, I'm going to go outside and take some pictures. And my wife and I went outside. And we were out there about 10 minutes because it was a little chilly out there. And we came back in, and Colleen is sitting there with one hand over her mouth and a blank stare. I'm not exaggerating. It was obvious. And my wife said, "Co, are you still stressing over that $40? And she didn't say a word. She lifted up her free hand and pointed to the coffee table. And there on top of the coffee table lay two $20 bills. I am not bullshitting. And you know how you hold your playing cards and you can see the corners and the suit on each corner? Well, that's the way the $20 bills were laying, flat on the table with just the corner of the bottom bill showing, so you could see two 20s. And I said, well, I think we both said, like, what the hell is going on there? She goes, I was sitting here, I reached for the mixed nuts, and as I reached for the mixed nuts, I saw the two 20s sitting on the coffee table. And I said, bull crap. She says, I swear to God. And Colleen doesn't, I mean, she has humor, you know, she has a sense of humor, but she wouldn't go to that extent to get a rise out of somebody. So, bicyclist. So, I'm going to stop right here in this turnout. So, I said, I looked on this coffee table. What the hell? She says, I don't know, and she was just, confused, and, well, obviously, we were too. And by that time, Jim had come in, and we told him what happened, and he believed us, obviously. Couldn't believe his wife, and she was serious. There was no, haha, gotcha. She was still flabbergasted by what just occurred. And so we finished our drink, and we were dumbfounded, thinking, how could this have happened? How did we miss this $20 bill, or these $40, two $20 bills? And we finished our drinks. We headed out through the bar, and before we left, Jim went straight to the bar and asked the bartender, does anything strange go on around this hotel? Happen in this hotel? And she goes, well, nothing's ever happened to me, but rumor is that Mr. Penrose comes back to visit the hotel, and when he does, he likes to play tricks on people. I am as serious as a heart attack. That's exactly what she said. He likes to play tricks on people. And Jim went on to explain to the bartender what had just happened. Well, the bartender manager was standing there listening to us. And he said, oh my gosh, I love this story. He says, I have never experienced anything like that except once. We heard a crash and the clanking sound of glass, not shattering, but glass going clank, 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 down where we keep the wine, below us. And we put the closed circuit TV, rewound it, and the cameras pointing directly at their wine rack. And they were watching the video, and they said that they saw the bottle of wine laying there, and all of a sudden it just rolls off the shelf and making this clanking sound on the floor. So he goes, but I love that story. Anyway, he was amazed by it. We obviously were amazed by it. And to be honest with you, I've never had a paranormal experience like that. I usually ride the fence on stuff like that. I mean, it's like, I don't disbelieve it, but give me some proof. But when it happens to you, you can't convince anybody else just how you felt that moment. And people think, oh yeah, great story. And they still have doubts. I don't know what to think. And I do consider it a paranormal experience because what we experienced was not normal, hence paranormal. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope you guys have a happy and spooky Halloween. So take care and ride safe, my friends.